Happy May 15th. We are back with our regular show. We're going to be discussing the markets at the moment. We're going to be discussing the meme stock rally. Actually, meme coins haven't done so well yet. And we're going to be discussing maybe we're going to see some pickup. Some meme coins have picked up, but the regular ones like Doge and so on have been a bit on the slower side. We're going to be looking at the crypto markets, going to look a bit on the financial policies, what could be happening, what could we be expecting. Feel a bit of some pessimism creeping in, at least a little bit. And we're going to be discussing this as well. So, yeah, we have some exciting topics. We're doing this almost every week. And yeah, it's myself, CEO and co founder of Cake, and Fabio, who's leading the community side. Fabio, let's get going. Give us a bit of a high level kind of view, insight, what's happening, what's going on, what are the topics on your kind of radar, what do you see being discussed?
Yeah, the kitty is back after 3 years. So before I do the bird's eye overview when it comes to sentiment and so on, maybe I need to explain the meme, the thumbnail that So the thumbnail of today's YouTube video and also the picture you can see behind me and on the screen right now. Maybe for somebody that isn't a gamer, you won't really understand it. But for everybody that is a gamer, you exactly know what it is. So if you're playing, especially on console, and you have this layback, let's say, stance, if you lean forward, shit is getting real. It means it's overtime in FIFA, it's boss battle in it's Mario's Kart last round. It's serious. It means you need to pay attention. You need to kind of put all of your effort into to make it count to win the game. And so that's just to explain the meme and the thumbnail. Yeah, the markets, it's weird, because the rally that we have seen so far is mainly dominated, I would say, by three different assets or three categories. And it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin did extremely well, especially for everybody that did DCA or that bought, let's say, a year ago. Then the second is Solana. Solana did extremely well. And the third category is meme coins. Not all of them, but some of them. And if you just look at some data when it comes to meme coins, we have just this year alone, we had more meme coins created, mostly on base protocol, than all of the previous history when it comes to meme coins. So there's definitely a lot going on, especially, if you look at traditional markets, meme stocks, GME is just doing insane things. We're going to dive into that and also a bit of the backstory when it comes to the kitty. But market sentiment in general, when it comes to crypto and to macro, is a bit of, I would say, dominated by uncertainty. We had an insane run up. Now we have a bit of a slowdown. PPI is creeping up. Inflation seems to be coming back. It's an election year, so there's a few factors. We were expecting by this time right now to have the first rate cuts. They are not here yet. Some people even talk about rate hikes. So yeah, that's just maybe the bird's eye overview and why there is so much uncertainty. Not sure where we should start, Julian. What did I miss when it comes to the bird's eye overview?
No, I think that's great. To me, I try to put myself into, I don't know, let's imagine you are a very serious investor. Let's say you're a fund and you're kind of really taking this stuff serious. And let's say you're an analyst in that fund, right? I don't know. I just always put myself in there. And then you go through the numbers and, you analyze these companies and you see companies like GameStop, for example, right? And I don't know, you analyze that and maybe you come to the conclusion that, okay, maybe these companies are not doing so well and maybe they're a bit overpriced or something, right? And just imagine you go into your boss and say, hey, you know what? I know a couple of years ago there was this massive short squeeze, but now, there's only one trend in these in these stocks, and it's a downtrend. It may be interesting to short this company. And so, I don't know, you short this company, right? And then you, I don't know, you're kind of shorting this, and then suddenly this entire thing and completely rips, right? It goes from, I don't know, in a few days, from $10 up to $40, which is nuts, right? The kind of amount you have to cover here as a short seller is just brutal. And then it's not only GameStop; it's the typical ones, AMC Entertainment's here. At the end, right, short sellers are down 1 billion. And then you're wondering, okay, what happened here? Did these companies come out with great earnings? Did these companies come out with like some amazing news? No, it's a Twitter account. In this case, I mean a well-known one that basically posts, like Fabio says, a guy of, kind of getting upright in his chair and saying, okay, shit's getting real, let's go. And to me, that's just the insane part in this world, right? Where you sit there and one thing that really just, I think what it teaches so well, and most investors really forget that, it's rarely that your life or anything or your results, right, are actually determined by probabilities. It's those improbabilities that really define a lot of the outcomes. And many times in a negative sense, right? It's the car that you don't see coming that runs you over. It's not the millions of cars that you see coming. And it's always the a kind of a really important lesson as an investor, right? To like, yeah, it's not those things that kill you that you know quite well. It's those where you're 100% sure that just ain't so. And yeah, it's this famous initial quote here also from The Big Short. So um, it's just a really good lesson here. You know how difficult sometimes it is to invest and how crazy the world can be. I know. I One of the more interesting kind of theories I've seen a bit is that maybe this is not even Roaring Kitty himself. It's He may have sold that account, and actually there are funds who prepped going in early. And I mean, there's just some weird behavior here, right? Where I mean, this happened basically on May 13th, where all of this woken up. But so why are these pumps already last week, right? Why were there pumps already last week? And then there was some extreme option buying also. And so there was just some speculation. And again, I just want to be very clear, right? This is pure speculation. I think at this stage, there's no evidence of that, that either this account got sold and someone else is doing this, or he himself knew what was going to come and prepared himself and started meme posting and so on. And this entire thing kind of led a bit to a discussion that I want to open here as well. And I want to give you a bit of my point of view. Fabio, I would love to hear your point of view. Let's assume it's a fund who bought the account from Roaring Kitty, let's say for $1 million, buys the account because this fund thinks, hey, all I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly what Roaring Kitty did 3 years ago, namely post memes. And we're going to buy this account for $1 million. At the same time, we're going to load up on call options, full on. Then we have the account. And then we start posting memes on GameStop. We prepared already. And now this thing is going to rip and we make tens of millions of dollars. There's, to my knowledge, I've not seen this strategy executed by anyone else. I don't know if anyone ever did this. And the relevant question is, I don't want to go into moral or ethical. I want to go and try to analyze this a bit. Is this legal or not? Right? Is this market manipulation? I mean, this is something that Jay Clayton came out and complained, I think, on CNBC and said, do we really want to live in a stock market that can be manipulated by memes? And is this market manipulation? Is it insider trading? What is this, right? And I had quite a few discussions on this topic. One with a good friend of mine, one today with an employee actually in our company where we discussed this over lunch, actually in a mastermind call where we discussed this as well, and we kind of ran those ideas through. And to me, it's very similar. That's at least my point of view. And again, I want to say I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert on that. But that was how I see this. This account doesn't reveal any inside information. There's no inside information that the account reveals. Because I don't think anyone sits here, looks at this meme, right? And this is the meme, I don't know what movie this is with Mel Gibson. What's it, The Highlander? I don't know. It's that movie where it's basically that freedom, and he lies there at the end, right, and says,
Braveheart, I think.
Braveheart. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. And then, yeah, you're right. And then at the end, he kind of the prisoner still wants to say something. And then he screams, "Freedom!" And then, like in that meme, right, it doesn't say freedom. It says GameStop, right? So that meme, I don't think there's a single person who watches this who then thinks, "Oh, great, GameStop is releasing a new movie," or "Oh, wow, like there's some insider, like this is like something that wasn't known before." No, it's a freaking meme. So I don't know if there's any insider information that gets revealed by posting these memes. So if that is not the case, then let's compare this, for example, to a very, very famous example, which is the entire Hindenburg short seller strategy. Hindenburg, we have discussed this on the show here as well, goes, researches a company, finds companies that are totally overpriced, then builds a massive position, a short position in a company, and then afterwards the reveals that short position and reveals all the research that went into that. And this is not insider trading. This is not market manipulation. They are just collating known information that they bring to the public, and they've built a position before. So if that is not insider trading and not market manipulation, I do not understand how someone could see that posting memes could be seen as that. At least I don't understand that. And this is a bit of my thought process on this. So this is either Roaring Kitty with a genius idea to make tens of millions of dollars by making a position up front and then posting memes, right? That he didn't do anything else to my knowledge, just posting memes. It could be a fund with that strategy, or it could be something that actually is going to completely change the security law in a way that I don't understand, because this would be crazy. How do you see this? I mean, what do you think about my idea that this could be a fund? What do you think about this idea? Could this be seen as insider trading? Could this be seen as market manipulation? And how do you see this as a whole? Because to me, I actually celebrate this stuff. Why? I mean, I'm not a GameStop investor. I wouldn't ever get involved in this. I wouldn't short that company. I wouldn't want to get into the craziness of this. I saw Andrew Tate. I mean, he goes full on in this. That's great. I mean, I love that these people do this. I don't, right? So I want to be very clear. I don't have a horse in that race, but I celebrate it. I celebrate it because it kind of slashes those like traditional investors that think it's so simple. And I don't know, it's a party for those that are willing to take the risk. So at least that's how I see this. Your thoughts on that, Fabio?
Yeah. So you showed an article with I think 1 billion in shorts liquidated. It's five now, a little bit more than five actually.
Oh,
At least what a few news channels are reporting that it's up to 5 billion. So I appreciate, of course, any conspiracy theory. I love, and I think any of is worth paying attention to. But one thing that kind of where I'm hesitant is I want to believe that Roaring Kitty is, let's say, not a social justice warrior, but a person with integrity, because the whole GameStop and meme stock movement is kind of sticking it to Wall Street. Basically, a bunch of guys that say the system is rigged. There is a bunch of Wall Streeters, a bunch of hedge funds that are profiting heavily on the back of, a business that we all loved. I grew up, and GameStop was like the one shop that when I was 12, 15 years old, it was the one shop that I always wanted to go to in any mall. And it kind of reflects that spirit of, it's not about the money. It's about sticking it to Wall Street. And that's also why the people are buying it. Of course, there are some people that want to make money with this, but there's a lot of ideology when it comes to, it's basically memes are ruling the world. Memes are bigger than Wall Street. We are sticking it to the systems with our own way. It's a bunch of people that say, there's nothing for us millennials. There is nothing for the younger generations. The boomer have stolen our future. The housing market is just too high for us to buy a house. It's basically gamble and get rich while gambling, or die trying. It's a bit of that spirit. And if Roaring Kitty would have sold his account to a fund, that would be an absolute deal breaker for me. Like he would be a sellout, and I believe, yeah, and I just don't. I cannot wrap my head around that. I don't think he's a sellout. Maybe, there is always a possibility, but I want to believe in the integrity of his account, and I don't know. I have hope. Let's say that we are actually sticking it to Wall Street. But if he would actually have sold the account, I would say this is insider trading, somewhat.
Really? Okay, explain it to me. How is this different from how is this different from Hindenburg?
Of course, it's.
What
I
is
don't know.
the
It's in
inside
a gray.
information this person had about the company? It's about the company, right? It's very, very clear about what insider trading means.
I think okay. It's in a gray area, but what it would come down to, like, also I Andrew Tate, for example, had a very different approach than the Roaring Kitty account. The Roaring Kitty account basically made memes that mean nothing, but Andrew Tate went on live streams and adjusted his bio and said, "Buy this." So I guess it's a gray area, and what we already can see, I think they stopped GME trading on several exchanges.
25 times or something
Yeah,
because that
30
thing
times.
is up so much.
And and even if you log into Robinhood, you will see like a disclaimer where it says this stock is experiencing extreme volatility, and you need to press OK like twice before you can invest, and so on. And I think we're going to see more of that, more circuit breakers. And one thing I cannot wrap my head around is why all of these people. Okay, sure, I get the GME story. I get why people love the company and why they want to stick it to Wall Street. But why don't they come into crypto? Because we don't have any circuit breakers here. We don't have an exchange that is going to shut down because of a lot of volatility. It's a free market. It's 24/7. And if you really want to pump something, just, because it's a meme and because it's
Yeah,
fun,
but
you
okay.
can also do
Okay,
that
if
here.
let's imagine I'm the fund, right? And I just want to pull a strategy off that no one has done before. I don't think such a strategy. Imagine, like, again, I get it. Let's say I don't think Ronan Kitty sold his account, but let's imagine. So if a fund bought this, then I don't think there's I don't know. I don't think there's been anyone who has done such a strategy. So as a fund, you don't have to put your name out there. You don't have to put any marketing out there. You just go, you buy an account, you position yourself up front, you post some memes, and you cash in. I don't know. Show me where in crypto this would work right now.
It,
So you know
it,
that
it,
question, why is it not on crypto? But I mean, imagine how. I mean, I think crypto meme coins are so overloaded, right? There's it's so difficult. It's so noisy. It's so difficult to beat the signal in the noise. And here you suddenly have something that I know is a very straightforward one.
I'm sure that this is establishing some precedents that, even 50 years from now, people will talk about what is happening with GameStop, what used to happen and what is happening right now as a precedence. And I think the world is moving more into that direction, that, just a meme culture, a gambling culture, craziness in the stock market, maybe not only limited to what is happening to GME and AMC right now, but I mean, there's more and more people. Look, the older generation that doesn't get memes is dying off, and our culture, younger people's thing, is this whole meme thing. And yeah, Julian is pulling up a chart here. I mean, GameStop almost up 200%, AMC up 140%, and it's crazy that the sentiment is kind of, or the markets
Look at
that we're
the
seeing this right
large
now.
meme coins. Not not much movement. It's like Doge is actually down, right? You would think, yeah, I mean, Pepe is up a bit, but even Pepe is not as up. Like it's yeah,
It's
actually
it's
quite
mainly the new meme coins that are performing well, like the ones that have their first cycle. The
sure.
the old, let's say, traditional meme coins like Shiba and Doge are not really the ones that are performing that well. It's mainly the new
I mean, also the
ones.
whole crypto market hasn't done so well. I mean, stocks have been the winners over the last week. Yeah, ETFs been weak. Yeah, been weak. Mm.
Is this a moment where we need to shift it slightly into the macro world, or?
Let's finish the meme stock thing. How do you think that's going to turn out? What do you think is going to be? Do you think that's going to be the same? Are we going to see like what 2 months of madness like in 2021? Do you think we're going to see Robinhood going to have to shut it down again? Are we going to see a dumb money like that movie? I mean, I think everyone who hasn't watched that movie right now, that's your time to watch that movie. Dumb money. That's what the movie's called. You should. It kind of gives you a bit of a rundown of that entire meme stock craziness in 2021. Do you think we're going to see a repeat of that? Do you think it's going to be cut short? Do you think if you were one of those short sellers right now, right, and you're down 5 billion, is this your time now to double down and say we're not going to see the same thing again? We're going to see we're going to see Wall Street, we're going to see the SEC coming in again, and all this is going to collapse? Or do you think it's going to be that it's just the start of all this? What do you think?
So we have one kind of set of data on this, and this is the meme crave in late 2020, 2021, I think. And I
Hmm.
just looked briefly at when the top was of the first GameStop saga, and it took 10 months for the rest of the market to top out afterwards. So a lot of people say, oh, we are seeing the dumb money coming in again. This is reflected. We're going to see a top right now. This is clear evidence that we are in the vicinity of a local top. And but the data says otherwise. The data says that the top is coming later. And if you look at other things like for example, in the United States, Robinhood is now the top downloaded app. And you can really see Phantom is moving up. So this is the meme coin wallet on Solana. So I guess retail is waking up a bit, and the saga might continue. For how long? I don't know. Um, but it's going to play out the same as this is not something that you can sustain. You cannot just buy up something and it's going to go up forever. There is going to be a top at one moment, and it's going to turn around the same as it did last time. And it's almost impossible for anybody to time this. So you're going to sell too early or too late. For retail, most retail is probably going to get wrecked. And there might be a fund or two, or also some retailers that shorted at just the right moment. But I don't know. It's not something like, I get the ideology. I get why people are buying it to kind of stick it to Wall Street, but I'm not jumping on this to make money. Like if, and probably very few people are actually going to walk away with decent money. The majority is probably, yeah, it's like always, the majority is going to pay for the ones that actually manage to time this. If I would be a fund, I don't know. I don't get why so many funds are shorting this. Yeah, I don't know.
So dangerous. Shorting in general. I mean, when I short, I always hedge, and I a naked short. I did this once. It's a long time ago. Lost it all. That was such a lesson. Yeah. Um. Okay. Let's move on away from meme stocks. Let's go into crypto. Let's go into liquidity. Let's go into uh policy. What do you think? Where are we? Is this the end? People are getting a bit more bearish, I feel. If you'd asked probably a month ago, when are we going to see the 100,000? Everyone was like, oh, next week, next week. And now, are we going to see 100,000 this year? People are like, yeah, I'm not sure. This was it. We may go down now. Like, we're going to see the 30s. Like, where are we?
Okay, so I short term, I don't know. I expect some choppiness. I don't know if we're going up. I don't know if we're going down. I wouldn't say we're going down massively, but also we're not going up massively. So probably, I don't know. Short term is hard to say. On the longer term, I've never been as bullish as I am right now. Like I'm talking Q3, Q4 this year. And this is just, several factors, and we had a short back and forth on this. So part of this is we saw PPI coming in. We see inflation picking up again. We see M2 picking up again, and that when it comes to policy, we had so okay. Many of you that follow this Twitter space or that follow crypto Twitter or Bitcoin Twitter, you are kind of fluent by now in monetary policy. You know what high interest rate mean, what low interest rate means, what you may be following the Fed updates and so on. But, and here I'm going to share my personal view on this and a change in alpha. The Fed doesn't matter anymore. You have two kinds of, let's say, a big pendulum that swings in between two different states. And we're talking 40, 50 years where this pendulum swings in between. And we had 40 years of monetary policy where everything the Fed said and everything the Fed did mattered a lot. But this is changing now to the fiscal side. So fiscal dominance and monetary dominance. And fiscal dominance just means that you have the politicians spending like crazy, having a lot of debt already, and influencing the Fed because of the first two. Meaning, if you look at the United States, they have massive debt. 18% of the total GDP goes to paying off the debt they have. So if interest rates are moving higher, they can't afford this. So the fiscal side is basically tying up the hands of the Fed and telling them, hey, guys, you cannot go any higher than that. And they're spending money. So it doesn't matter if Biden is going to be president or Trump is going to be
Mm.
president. Biden is going to do stimulus and Trump is going to do tax cuts, which both of it is the end result is the same. It's easy money, it's money printer. Some is more on the fiscal side. And also, if, for example, if Trump takes over, he will replace Jay Powell, he will put in some guy, and the monetary policy is just going to be influenced by the president. It's basically him picking the guy that is going to do what he wants. So I'm like crazy bullish. I expect an epic bull run end of this year into next year, maybe even into 2026. Just but here, one caveat to that. Not everybody is going to profit from this bull run because, especially if you hold T bills and if your money is on a bank, you're going to suffer because inflation is going to be higher than the interest rates you're getting there. And that's basically just taking money away from the boomers because boomers have like 65 or 70% of their capital in illiquid bonds, T bills, money markets, whatever. And this is the capital that's going to suffer. If you're exposed to crypto, commodity, or high, let's say, risky assets, you're going to do well in my scenario. But yeah, I'm super bullish long term, not so sure short term. What about you, Julian? What
I
do you
mean,
think is going to perform well?
same. Very same. I From the beginning of the year, I've been read on that bandwagon that late Q3, Q4 is going to be the time. I was positively surprised about Q1, very surprised, and yeah, I'll stick to that. I'm on your like I'm completely the core here. Next couple of months, not expecting too much. I think it's a fantastic time to dollar cost average, build your position. I think that's really good, and yeah, that's just where I am. But haven't changed my view, my opinion. I just gave a interview in Focus Money, one of the largest German financial magazines, came out today, and I gave that interview last week. I can't remember exactly what day, but yeah, the interview they asked me as well. Like the trend looks a bit bearish at the moment, and what is my thoughts? And I'm like, no, I this is completely expected. And if someone can't handle that, they shouldn't be in Bitcoin. They shouldn't be in crypto. I still think the 100,000 are possible from everything that we're seeing right now. And I don't think we're going to see this in the next couple of months. I think it's going to be maybe in 6 months or something. So, yeah, that's at least what I'm preparing myself for.
Like there is maybe another side to this that a lot of retailers don't understand, but you had the period between January and April was there was an extreme hype on let's say new projects, VC money, and many people investing in early stage projects that are just now announcing their TGEs, that just now announcing their go lives and so on. And a lot of capital is actually locked up. So a lot of people took insane bets in Q1 this year because we saw this run up and there was extreme hype, institutional hype, and a lot of money coming in for projects that are about to launch, that are about to build in all kinds of different spaces. I mean, AI, Bitcoin Fi, gaming, and so on. And this capital is right now is waiting for, let's say, there's a lot of uncertainty. So these projects haven't launched yet. So the first, let's say, payoff from the investment, VC money is fast money. They invest, they want to have their TGE, and they want to cash out, dump on retail, and go to the next thing. And now we are in this in-between period where the market is like, I don't know, not holding up that well. Lots of uncertainty, lots of delays, but it just needs let's say a flip of a switch. When this will happen, if it's going to happen next month or it's going to happen in September, not sure. But I'm definitely, as I said a bit earlier, I'm super bullish, especially towards the end of the year. It can happen much earlier, but I'm sure towards the end of the year we will have, let's say, the tide and the wind aligned with us much more than it is right now. Yeah, but it's a weird period where we are in right now, especially if we go back and like last autumn or so, we talked about when is the Fed going to cut rates, and all stars were kind of aligned to May, June. Right now, we are in May, we are in June, and it's not looking like they're going to cut rates anytime soon. So this also is kind of delayed, and the market is like hanging in between, where we just don't know how long is this going to take. So yeah, weird to kind of be in that situation.
Yeah, agree. Um, to be fair, other than the meme stock craziness and that financial liquidity kind of outlook, I hadn't prepared much more because there's nothing else on my side. Anything from your side?
Well, look, within the our community, we have a lot of DeFi investors, of course. Investing or using our platform on a daily basis, and they're always interested in what's going on in a DeFi ecosystem, let's say. And we definitely have some news there. I think Jeff went live with their token, and they already saw this pumping. I think from about $1 to $3 on their DEX listing. I think Vanilla is the first listing there. It's going to be a SEX listing that is going to follow. Major project launch. There is 2 DFIPs currently, one special DFIP that was up for voting or is still up for voting. I'm not sure when it closes. Looks like a majority of yes votes, and it's quite a complex DFIP that is mainly around the DUSD and the D token system, and how to kind of take this into the future. Just to summarize maybe what the current issue is and what this DFIP is about to kind of fix or trying to fix is there was an introduction of an 80% fee in between DFI and the D token system. And this kind of led to a dying down of liquidity, because not a lot of people want to take the heavy fee. And with the new structure, this fee is heavily going to be iterated so that it is much more of a free market system. And there is other smaller changes that are going to affect this, let's say, transfer or in between state. I would urge you to look at Reddit itself, where you can look through the proposal. We have many community members, like I don't know, for example, Lars Berge. He talked a bit about that this is could be the first part of a rebirth. Cookie made a few great posts on that on his personal Twitter, where he basically summarized what he thinks this is going to mean. But this is a big moment, and I think not a lot of people are paying attention that this is a bit of a turnaround. And also, I mean, I'm not. I don't want to give away too much there, but I really think that the last 6 months, it was an unpleasant experience being in the community or being an investor, because there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of turmoil. But usually, it's a good thing when a token or when an ecosystem is experiencing something like this, because it means things are changing. And the change that I really can see is this is a bit of a breaking free and a bit of a rebirth, that DFI is going to stand on its own 2 feet, and there is, I would say, the community is kind of taking over a lot of it. Lars Berge summarized this in a very, very good way. So I would everybody to urge to watch that video. Yeah,
Maybe we can link
it's a
this up in
fantastic
the
in the show
description.
notes.
Yeah.
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 If possible, we can add this to the show notes. Yeah, and yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I also think Bake as a company went through something similar. It's also a bit of a rebirth and some turmoil, to put lightly, but interesting times. And I think it's good that this is happening now, because all of us, at least Julian, nobody, we don't have a crystal ball, but we definitely see that the end of this year could be extremely bullish. And of course, both the ecosystem, as in DFI and Bake as a company, can profit heavily from, let's say, another run up. And cheap capital. That's what crypto is all about. We go well, like everything is going well when liquidity is loose, and it wasn't loose for the last 2.5 years. And we might just see or are at the point where liquidity is coming back. And yeah, more liquidity is just great for all of crypto. So yeah, super
Sure.
bullish right now on everything. Bullish on Cake, bullish on DeFi, bullish on crypto, bullish on Bitcoin, bullish on on almost everything.
Bullish
I'm,
yesterday. What is that thing? Bullish yesterday, bullish tomorrow, been bullish. Or how does that thing go? With a spin.
I am bullish. I also used to be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for that. Yeah, I shared my thoughts on that last week. So just listen to that from last week. Next week we have public holiday in Singapore. Also, a couple of people are off, so we're gonna skip next week for the live. We're gonna be back in 2 weeks, so end of May. So yeah, with that, Fabio, nothing else from my side. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you, Fabio. Thanks so much, everyone. If you haven't done so, follow us on X, subscribe on YouTube. Stay tuned, and then see you next time. Thanks so much, everyone. Cheers, and bye bye.